how would we title this parable? If we were to give it a title, what would that be? The foolish man, maybe? Yeah. The foolish man with a foolish plan. Bigger barns that he spends time and money working towards and then will not be there to enjoy. This parable is, at the same time, kind of very realistic and very extreme. Realistic in its initial approach and logic, right? You need more storage, so of course you build more storage space. And, realistic in its echo of Ecclesiastes. Work and toil for what in the end, ultimately? But it's also kind of extreme in naming that out loud and illustrating it in such a graphic way. But why is that? Why go to that level? Well, there's the setup, isn't there? I mean, that lead-in question is extreme, right? Someone in the crowd says, as if shouting out a request at a rock concert, right? Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me. And, different request, not a concert, but, kind of like that. And suddenly I'm having trouble thinking of a better parable than one that ends with, the things you have prepared, whose will they be? Inheritance, right? Yeah. I wonder what that person from the crowd took away from this. One's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. And what about those bigger barns? Just a chapter ago, Jesus was teaching his disciples to pray. And what we've come to call the fourth petition of that prayer is, give us today our daily bread. Part of Luther's explanation of this petition in the Small Catechism is an answer to the question, what then does daily bread mean? And the answer is worth reading through, because it is everything included in the necessities and nourishment for our bodies, such as food, drink, clothing, shoes, house, farm, fields, livestock, money, property, an upright spouse, upright children, upright members of the household, upright and faithful rulers, good government, good weather, peace, health, decency, honor, good friends, faithful neighbors, and the like. That's a lot of stuff. But think about it. Those are the things we need to live well day to day. It covers the basics of physical survival and the systems for security, knowing that things will be fair and just, virtues for living well, and community, daily needs. We don't need excess, bigger barns. We do need enough daily bread. And there is a difference. And I think there's another lesson here surrounding the parable, and that's where we place the value of a person over the value of a thing, stuff. I don't know these siblings in the crowd, beyond that there's a disagreement about their inheritance. But it seems like Jesus could be speaking to either one or both of them in this moment. I mean, that's what parables do, right? They invite us to kind of settle into the story and take a look around. The man in the parable isn't mentioned as valuing his relationships and people. I mean, no one besides him is even mentioned. And the question at the end is a little leading in that way. Right? Whose will they be? He's placed value and worth on the things that he has, built them up to that level, and that's it. What is it to be rich towards God? That's a big question. Where would we look for the answer? How on earth would we figure that out? Well, there is that prayer that Jesus taught. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us as we forgive each other. Daily bread, including peace, health, decency, honor, good friends, faithful neighbors, and the like. Forgive us as we forgive each other. That's that community aspect again. This parable, I think, is about regaining some perspective. Taking a step back and getting an understanding of what's really important. Acting accordingly, and then reminding ourselves of that and course correcting if and when we forget. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Enough. I hope those siblings heard the lesson and worked it out. I also hope that we are constantly considering that too, and always working to figure out the proper place and value of what and who we have in our lives, and trying to act accordingly too. It's about perspective sometimes. I think this is one of those times. And so that's where we're going to leave it for this week. Amen.